World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
For the past couple of minutes, it has been clear from this space back on Chambers in that area. So now they're walking back toward the World Trade Center. And as we keep letting you hear the personal stories, the survivor stories of exactly what happened inside the World Trade Center when that first plane went in, and of course the collapses since then, we're going to bring more of those to you now. Barry Jennings, you were on the 8th floor. You work for the City Housing Department. Explain to me the moment of impact.
Well, me and Mr. Hesh, the Corporation Counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hesh. I said, this is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here. I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. This gentleman right here, and he kept saying, stand by, somebody's coming to get you. They couldn't get to us for an hour because they couldn't find us.
You thought that was it?
I thought we're dead. I thought that was it. I started praying to Allah. I said, that's it. We're gone. It's over.
What was it like for you? You were inside there as well.
It was pandemonium. I mean, it was something like out of Bruce Willis' Die Hard movie. He was there and he was crying, and there was another gentleman crying and for help. We couldn't get to him. We tried to get through we went through the buildings. We were lost. Both staircases, the backside was completely blown away. There was no way to access us. We couldn't get to him. And finally, one of the fire department teams found him. But we didn't think they were going to make it.
Well, certainly you got out. Many others didn't. Of course, we don't have a number right now of fatalities or injuries. But I want to translate a story to you that another man told me. He was near the building. He was on the lobby level, near the shopping area, near the promenade. The elevator doors, he said to me, blew open. And when the doors opened, there was a man on fire inside that elevator. That is the kind of tragedy we were talking about here.
In your book 5 years ago, Fighting Terrorism, How Democracies Can Defeat Domestic and International Terrorism, I will quote, in the worst scenario, the consequences could not be a car bomb, but a nuclear bomb in the basement of the World Trade Center. You got the location right, the weapon wrong, but they didn't even need a nuclear weapon. Do you really envision the obtaining of weapons of mass destruction by these very same personalities or people like them, and that they would have the will to deliver even an Armageddon kind of blow to the United States?
Do you have any doubt? I mean, okay, they didn't use nuclear bombs because they don't have them, but they used a 350-ton conventional bomb, 350 tons of conventional bombs with all that fuel, and that is far more powerful than anything an F-16 could launch in terms of conventional weapons. So they're well on their way. But it is important to understand that none of these groups, not bin Laden, not the Hamas and Hezbollah and the Fatah Fatah groups, Arafat's own group that formed this network of terror, none of them could act without states, without terrorist regimes. It's important to understand that. These terrorists don't float in the air. They need territory. They need a place to be launched from, to come back to coordinate. That is those who don't commit suicide, those who orchestrate, plan, execute, arm, dispatch these terrorists. They need a place to be, and that place to be is a handful of states in the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, a few Arab states, and indeed this complex that includes also Arafat's own Palestinian domain, which has become, in fact, the factory of suicide bombs. Arafat has summer camps. Geraldo, he has summer camps in Gaza where Hamas and Islamic Jihad teach Palestinians.
that, I'm sure that they cleared the area down, but that could just fall.
He's gonna bring in the big one. Wow, this is zooming up.
Yeah, here's one of the guys who can tell you I'm okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
To be right now. You gotta get back something.
I know that. You gotta
get back.
All right? Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now. All right, that's...
The 4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us that were stuck in the tunnel. So that's, they must be busy doing that.
Go against another one. Hours after the attack, many smaller explosions rumbled through downtown.
At Ground Zero, running in the streets is the only form of escape. But on those same streets, the chaos and vibrations couldn't be avoided.
Keep your eye on that building, it'll be coming down.
One went off in the lobby first, then a plane hit the building. But then another plane hit the other building. But when I was coming through the doors on the other side of the Trade Center, either they blew the lobby up or something, because it blew the glass out of the doors and knocked us all down, and I got smoke and everything on me. I just feel a little shook up because I got blasted, so I'm just trying to,
area for the fire department. We've seen hundreds of firefighters walking into the area as commuters and workers are making their way out from Broadway and down towards the financial district. By the thousands, people have been parading by foot over the Brooklyn Bridge. We're hearing a number of large booms coming from that area. We can only guess what is going on. Right on the edge here, when the winds change, the ash and dust will be coming our way. We have these respirators ready for us. But you can see the giant clouds coming out of the region.
Because now there's a lot of police activity and sirens and more smoke rising from the ground, new smoke. So there was some kind of additional explosion, but I don't know what it was. Definitely. Smoke was rising from the ground. Maybe it was a federal building or something like that. Okay, sweetie, I'll call you later. It's now 11 o'clock. Still hear continuing explosions, but I don't know what it is. A lot of smoke. pedestrians fleeing to Brooklyn. Some emergency service vehicles heading away from the World Trade Center. People milling around the street. Fire, maybe a car on fire. Another explosion.
After the towers had collapsed, it was in the process of crawling in under that footbridge I was mentioning to pull out a fallen comrade. And this comrade was a firefighter, was trapped about 500 feet in under some debris down West Street. And he turned around and said he saw a police officer walking with him carrying a 9mm pistol. And he asked him what he was doing. And he said that there were people in the area that were planting bombs after the planes had flown into the tower, that the bombs apparently, and this is just going on what one firefighter told me, police believe that there were bombers that were in the area after the planes hit the towers planting bombs, and that may have been what caused the further devastation. Are you still with me?
Yes, we're listening to you, Joe. It's just unbelievable what you're telling.
When you think that part of the component of news coverage around the country every year is the excitement and the fun that people get watching an old building being demolished, and they wire it very carefully for days, and it's a very careful operation in order to make sure that a building comes down safely. I think the last one we saw was when they brought down one of the old casinos in Las Vegas. I mean, this is just stunning to see these things come down.
And then late afternoon, 5 p.m., still another building collapses. 7 World Trade Center.
I told you that sucker was going to go.
That's coming here, isn't it?
What, the cloud?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
About an hour after the actual explosion, which was about 9:15 in the morning. If you wanted to calculate a time to cause maximum disruption, you would calculate that time as the start of the working day and perhaps the biggest, busiest complex in the world.
That's 47 stories tall. There you can see it going.
So this happened, some 6 hours or so after the collapse of the World Trade Center. Presumably, it was so close to the World Trade Center that it had been weakened by the explosions and the collapse of those buildings.
And since the most recent collapse, which happened just a short while ago, Building 7, a 47-story building, as part of the World Trade Center complex.
This is Building 7 in the World Trade Center area is collapsing. Now, whether we don't even know whether this was something that was engineered for safety reasons or it just happened as a consequence of the two collisions this morning. Understanding that building had been evacuated when the collapse occurred.
This was known as Building 7 of the World Trade Center, and that is fresh video you're looking at of that coming down.
Now, again, they were able to get everybody out of that building before it collapsed. So I don't know whether it was accomplished by demolition experts or whether it just happened as a consequence of what occurred earlier today.
It's that building number 7 was going to collapse. That appears to be what has happened now. I don't know exactly how many stories the building is, Dan, but standing at the base of it, watching it burn about an hour ago, it looked to be something on the order of 50, 60 stories, as you said, a very, very large office building.
It was an abrupt, total, and complete collapse at the speed of free fall.
In fact, you were just told by police that you should move out of your apartment, Fabiana. You've got Carolina here?
Yes. They advised us to leave because we have...
Oh, my God. Look behind us. Please pan in this way. Please be careful of your baby. This is it.
That's the building coming down.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No. No. Listen. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
We're okay. I think we're okay. Ashley, I think we're okay.
Truth Action points to World Trade Center building number 7 that was behind the Twin Towers and how it went down that day.
Building 7 ablaze at the moment and apparently getting ready to collapse.
And that's what then subsequently caused the rest of the building to collapse.
Claims and counterclaims in the course of the next 24 hours. In a report from Dawn Fratangelo about a woman who was coming out of the building, she said the firemen were going up and she just knows that they were lost.
Hoboken, who actually saw that second building collide. Now, as you continue to describe what you have seen, we're looking at the tape now, Jeff.
Okay, good. This, once again, happened only within the last few minutes.
It's amazing. Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Way out. Way out.
In the 2002 documentary Why the Towers Fell, PBS creates a video model.
Once the trusses fail, the floors they were holding cascade down with a force too great to be withstood. The result is what's called a progressive collapse, as each floor pancakes down onto the one below.
What remains standing? The tall, indestructible core. Why does PBS fail to explain the complete disappearance of the Twin Towers cores?
It was 8:46 in the morning.
And then we heard a plane come over, and in Manhattan, you don't hear planes too often, especially loud ones.
Right then and there.
New York City, 2001. No tall building had ever collapsed primarily due to fire. But that's exactly what investigators believe happened to the 47-story World Trade Center Building 7 on September 11th. According to a 3-year comprehensive building and fire safety investigation just completed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST.
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires. We really have a new kind of progressive collapse that we have discovered here, which is a fire-induced progressive collapse. And in fact, we have shown for the first time that fire can induce a progressive collapse.
NIST used detailed data describing the building and its contents to create the most complex computer simulation of a structure collapse ever made. Falling debris from Tower 1 started fires on 10 floors in Building 7. A break in the city water main from the collapse of the towers disabled sprinklers in the lower half of WTC 7, allowing fires on those floors to burn for 7 hours. The NIST computer model was validated with evidence from videos, photos, witness accounts, and other data. It shows that heat from fires expanded long support beams, causing connections and floors to fail.
So you look at the floors failing here, and eventually this column 79 is going to buckle, it fails, and then the entire vertical progression takes place.
The buckled column caused additional collapsed floors and falling debris that removed support from adjacent interior columns. A chain reaction then caused other interior columns to fail in quick succession. The outside shell of the building fell. The NIST team found no evidence that explosives were involved in the collapse.
And our analysis showed that even the smallest explosive charge that was capable of bringing down the critical column in the building, had it occurred, we would have seen sound levels of 120 to 130 decibels about a half a mile away. That would have been an incredibly loud sound, and that sound was not picked up by any of the videos or witnesses that we have talked to.
The team found that World Trade Center 7's design was generally consistent with the relevant building codes when it was built.
Our high-rise buildings in this country are very, very safe. Having a collapse of this nature is a very rare event.
Nevertheless, to ensure that buildings do not collapse in fires, even when sprinklers fail or are not present, the NIST team urges reevaluation of the fire performance of structures with long-span floors and other design elements similar to WTC 7. The team's report also calls for stronger codes, standards, and practices so that other buildings don't suffer the same fate.
To be alive, everything they say turns out to be a lie.
In May it started with the Easter Bunny or St. Nicholas. Even more ridiculous, a tooth fairy. From there we're forced to recite the pledge. Hail Mary, one nation under God. Why us? Don't question, son, you're burning hell. Pay attention to the lies that we're told to tell. Teacher teaches us Columbus was a hero. He stole lands, he stole lives of so-called Indians. From the Tainos to the Africans. Respect Thomas Jefferson? He molested Sally Hemings. And now they say Reagan was a great man. The godfather of crack babies? Denying of the ace plate, I ran fast as I could to the library to find out they tracing books I read. These lies got me surrounded, there's a war on truth. Ain't it on me? It started with that first lies too. Lies, it's all lies, everything they say. Lies, they keep telling lies, we hear them every